You ever just had a feeling? You know, that little voice, that gut instinct telling you what to do? We hear it all the time, right? Trust your gut. But what if that's actually terrible advice sometimes? Okay, let's get into it. So, a friend of mine was talking to this veteran venture capitalist. I mean, a guy who spent decades betting millions of dollars on what the future's going to look like. My friend asks him, "So how much do you rely on your gut feeling when you invest?" And you'd think the answer would be, "Oh, it's everything," right? But what he said was, well, it was a total shock. He just said, "Not anymore. My intuition has fooled me more than it has served me."
I mean, that just stops you in your tracks, doesn't it? If a guy with that much experience, with that much skin in the game, has learned to actively distrust his gut, what about the rest of us? When can we trust that feeling, and when is it just leading us completely off a cliff? That is the big question we're going to answer.
And lucky for us, we don't have to just guess. The answer comes from the amazing work of a psychologist named Gary A. Klein. He's one of the world's leading experts on this stuff, and his research gives us this incredible, super clear framework for knowing when your intuition is basically a superpower and when it's a trap. So here's the big idea that Klein figured out. It's not that intuition is good or bad. It's that its usefulness depends completely on the kind of world you're making the decision in. He basically splits our world into two totally different decision-making environments.
And these are the two worlds. On one side, you've got the high-validity world, and on the other, the low-validity world. The key difference is simple. A high-validity world is a great teacher. Your experiences there actually train your gut to be right. But a low-validity world, it's just too chaotic, too noisy. It can't teach you anything reliable. So let's break down what that really means.
First, let's talk about the high-validity world. This is the place where your gut feeling isn't just a guess, it's a finely tuned instrument. This is where your intuition can be pure genius. So, what makes a world high validity? Well, it's an environment that's stable and pretty predictable. Cause and effect are clear, and crucially, you get quick and obvious feedback on your choices. In a world like this, your intuition isn't magic. It's just your brain becoming an expert pattern recognition machine. For your gut to get this smart, three things have to be in place. First, there have to be regular, repeating patterns for your brain to learn. Second, you need fast and accurate feedback. You need to know right away if you made the right call or not. And third, you just need tons and tons of practice, lots of repetition, to burn those patterns into your brain. So when you put all that together, what we call intuition is really just the result of thousands of hours of practice in the right kind of environment. It's kind of like Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000-hour rule, but with a twist. It's not just about the hours. It's about spending those hours in a world that gives you that immediate, crystal clear feedback.
So who are the superstars of this world? Think about a firefighter who just knows a building is about to collapse. It's not a lucky guess. Their brain is processing 1,000 tiny cues from past fires. The exact sound the walls are making, the color of the smoke. Or a chess grandmaster who sees the winning move in a split second. A surgeon who spots a barely visible problem on a scan. An elite athlete making a play that looks impossible. Their gut is an expert because it's been to school.
Okay, now let's flip the coin and talk about the low-validity world. This is the world that our venture capitalist friend lives in. And this is where trusting your gut can be a one-way ticket to disaster. A low-validity world is basically the polar opposite of what we just talked about. It's a place where the rules are always changing, the patterns you think you see are often just random noise. And maybe the most important part, the feedback on your decisions is super slow, totally unclear, or maybe you never even find out if you were right. And this is where it gets really dangerous. See, in a world like this, your intuition never gets the good, clean data it needs to actually learn anything. You might feel really confident, you might think you've cracked the code, but that feeling is based on, well, nothing. It's based on luck. Your gut gets overconfident because the world never gives it a proper reality check. So let's think of some examples. Stock pickers trying to predict what the market will do tomorrow. Political pundits trying to forecast an election a year out. And, you guessed it, venture capitalists trying to predict which startup is going to be the next unicorn. In all of these areas, there are a million variables, and the feedback loop is crazy long. A VC might not know if an investment was a genius move or a total bust for 5, even 10 years. The world is just too noisy for their gut to learn anything reliable. All right, so we've got these two very different worlds, but what's the point? How do we actually use this to make better decisions in our own lives?
This is the part that changes everything. It all comes down to this one simple idea. If you remember anything, remember this. Intuition works where the world teaches reliable lessons. Rules work when the world is too noisy to teach. It's that simple, but so powerful. You just have to figure out which game you're playing. And this chart says it all perfectly. If you're operating in a high-validity world, it's predictable, you get fast feedback, go for it. Trust your intuition. It's earned it. But if you find yourself in a low-validity world, it's unpredictable, feedback is slow or non-existent. Stop. Don't trust your gut. Trust a process. Use a checklist. Use a set of rules. Use analysis. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. Think about the big decisions in your life. Which world are you living in most of the time? At your job? When you're dealing with your investments? What about in your relationships? Just knowing whether you're in a high-validity or low-validity world is the first and most important step to figuring out whether you should listen to that little voice in your head or tell it to be quiet and pull out a spreadsheet instead.